Welcome, webheads. It's that time again for the most supersonic, hypersonic, and harmonic cybersecurity webcast on the internet. So welcome to Head in the Clouds. So take it away, Jules and Jay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Head in the Clouds. We have an exciting episode planned for you today. Luke Babarinde with Imperva has joined us to talk about their cutting-edge technologies and how we can utilize them to secure our data. So with that being said, Luke, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you got cooking over at Imperva.
Hey, thank you for having me, Julia. Jason makes the fun that I should be wearing my Canadian tuxedo, so this is the best I could come up with. Anyway, I joined Imperva March 2012, and I've been here for equivalent to 10 years. And in that time, I've worked as a consultant, and now I operate as work as a principal architect, right, for our global teams, our SC teams. And happy to be here. I'll talk more about our offerings, application security, data security, the full shebang as we drive this forward. So thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So many professionals know Imperva as a WAF solution. What's new?
So yeah, it happens that every time you ask anyone, especially within the partner and distribution community, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh yeah, WAF, right? However, we've fundamentally evolved from just simply being a WAF or DAM vendor, where WAF is Web Application Firewall and DAM is Database Activity Monitoring. We've transitioned and evolved from that, right? Over the years, we've actually built a SaaS platform that offers fundamentally the base layer WAF, built-in CDN, DDoS protection, has bot protection as well as now the very latest API security, right? So we have a lot of deep offerings within that platform that makes it easier for clients to adopt the solution really quickly, rapidly through a DNS change. And on the data side, we continue to invest heavily there too, where we've been able to actually bring to market advanced data security fabric that's able to monitor your data wherever you are, right, across the cloud sphere and on-prem too, right? Bring it all together, rich parity for capabilities, compliance, security events across the board of who's consuming your data, right? So that's Imperva in a nutshell, right? So that's who we are today. We've transformed from that web application firewall vendor to now a SaaS application and API security and data protection platform service provider for the community. And it's been great being around in the last few years as we've been through that transformation.
I've worked with Imperva for a long time. I remember deploying it as a WAF. I remember deploying it as a DAM hardware on site in a data center. A couple of weeks ago, we moved our sites behind the new SaaS model. Easiest thing to do. I can imagine that along with kind of the SaaS model, there are a lot of other things driving this adoption of the web access firewall / API security, which I think Gartner a couple of years ago renamed WAAP or WAP. Tell us a little bit, what are your current trends that you're seeing drive that adoption? What are you seeing as being kind of the market driver for it?
And thank you, Jason. And it's fascinating you mentioned the hardware. We actually still very deep in the hardware space with a hybrid approach. We are the only vendor where you can sell either the SaaS WAF or the award-winning on-prem WAF too, right? Going back to the WAF, right, web application and API protection that Gartner actually came out with a couple of years ago, it turned out that our application security is not enough, right? Application development moved from being a monolithic application to more a kind of distributed microservices, right? And in doing so, we all needed a way to make those applications kind of interact together, right? As well as third-party vendors that are serving your services, right? That are part of your service fabric. And to do that, APIs started picking up, where APIs have now become the main, application programming interface, have now become a means for different vendors, technologies, and partners to interact, right, seamlessly without having to retranscribe what's going on, right, in a proprietary language. So it made it easier for the internet to operate. And now on our platform, on our SaaS platform, we actually see over 70% of the traffic going through it being API related, right? So that's been the major driver of our business over the last few years. And Gartner, they've rightly reflected that in the newer WAP right, category that they've developed, and we are leading that too.
So, API security definitely something that it's a really hot topic right now. Tell me a little bit. So, deploying API security in my mind, like I said, we moved our behind the WAF a couple of weeks ago, right? I was on the market for an API security vendor, and we start looking at the different options that are out there, and all of them are wanting to sit in the middle of the web server and the API gateway, or they want to sit as an agent on a device. So tell me a little bit, like, how is it that Imperva does their API security without proxying those API calls or sitting in the middle of those connections?
So what we do effectively, right, you onboard an application, right? And you're right. What's really accelerated adoption rate has been the ease to actually onboard an application without you having to change anything on the application side. You simply have to make a DNS change, route the traffic through our SaaS platform. And because that, that allows you to pump any traffic that you want. It could be API related. It could even be not HTTP related traffic. The platform is able to actually bring that in and then, pass that over to the origin scrubbed, right? So scrubbed off all the bad traffic, bad user agents, or anything, any kind of attribute that are classed as anomalous, scrub that off and then deliver the clean payload. Now, what's been really driving that has been the convenience of being able to do that without having to even change your application stack, right? You don't have to change your application stack. Your application could be anywhere. It could be on-prem. It could be in the cloud. It could be distributed. It really doesn't matter because we have load balancing built into the platform as well to allow you to do just that, right? And to make that change, you only need our DNS change, and we become the first point of the first path, right? For the users, they come to your origin, and then we send it over to your origin fully scrubbed. But on that stack, we have integrated services that facilitate the ease of use for the administrator and acceleration of time to value for the organization. Meaning we have the bot protection, we have the WAF there, we have the CDN to make sure that you're not compromising performance. Because the first thing people ask is, hey, if I change to a proxy, am I going to compromise some of my performance here? Right? But the fact of the matter is we actually accelerate that with the CDN capability that we have, right? And then on top of that, you think of DDoS protection, right? That's major, right? We've seen a huge shift in that since the European war as well, right? So that's been a huge one, a huge attack surface that we've seen over the last few years, but it's continued to grow this year as well.
So I'm interested to hear, what are some of the fastest selling solutions you're seeing over at Imperva?
The fastest solutions we've seen has to be API security, and I'll give a little bit of kind of history to that. What we have done at Imperva to readapt the platform to be ready to provide the best possible API security. We started developing API security solution about 2.5 years ago, and we brought that to market about 2 years ago. But we found some gaps, so we went back to the market and acquired Cloud Vector, one of the better startups out there for API security. And what we do very well at Imperva, and because of the nature of the platform, where it was built in-house from ground up, hardware, chassis, all the way through the software stack, we are able to easily integrate whatever technology we acquire seamlessly into the platform. And we have been able to do that successfully now we now have application security that's able to do the full discovery, classification of data types, and give you advanced capabilities built in on that platform as well, right? Just through that one single onboarding process, you can actually tap into those advanced capabilities that we now have. Additionally, you can adopt that too on-prem and then a hybrid approach, right? That's again what makes us very different in marketplaces, and we are the only vendor that provides our hybrid approach, right, to your application security or API defenses.
So, Luke, we've talked about the WAF, we've talked about API. I find it really, when we talk about security, where we really want to talk about is where's data, right? And one of the largest problems we have as engineering companies is we lose track of it. So what are some of the technologies from a data protection perspective that Imperva implements?
Yeah, and thanks, Jason. The way that I put that is, if you have a client that they care a great deal about protecting their application, really what they are telling you is they care a great deal about their data, right? Because an application doesn't have anything in it, right? Fundamentally, maybe it has some static pages, but fundamentally it's talking back to a database somewhere. right? And that's just the natural form of an application today. So effectively, if you meet a client and they care about they care about the APIs or the applications, what they are saying is, hey, we really do not want to lose our data, right? So at Imperva, we actually have a solution on the data side, deeper in the data center, to be able to track what users are doing with the data, not just users, actually, any entity that's interacting with the data. So we bring accountability to that. And this is beyond access control. This is not our put access control so we can gauge what, we can actually put a gauge around what Luke is going to do around the data. It's not that. It's beyond, once you've granted that permission to a privileged user or to an application user, making sure that they are not abusing that privilege by looking at the data layer and giving observability into exactly what they are doing. So that's what we do on the data side. And again, we have that for on-prem, in the cloud. It really doesn't matter where the database is. It could be structured, it could be unstructured too now. We have strategic partnerships to offer that broad depth between structured and unstructured, right? And anywhere across the cloud, GCP, Azure, AWS, and on-prem across the board.
Luke, I appreciate you taking some time to come talk to us today, man. I got to be honest with you. I'm excited about where you guys have gotten to today. Like I said, I've worked with Imperva for a long time, and it seems like you guys are constantly on the cutting edge of a lot of this technology. It was actually the first DAM firewall that I actually utilized. So thanks for spending some time with us. I appreciate it. Everybody, reach out to your sales rep, head in the clouds at cloudharmonics.com. If you have any questions or want to learn how to get a hold of Imperva or talk to them about how they can help you accelerate your business and secure your customers' data with their product lines. Thanks all and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Jason.
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you. Bye, Julie.